number 6. I am Tiagi Das, your host in this learning adventure. Hello and welcome everyone. This is English in the Pocket podcast number 6. I am Tiagi Das, your host in this learning adventure. And today's podcast is the second part of our interview with sound therapist Francesco Corallini, who is based in London and is doing an amazing work bringing pure frequencies to people's lives. Enjoy!
Yes, I mean, there are different responses, different feedback we have from people. I guess every therapist, every facilitator has a unique way of practicing. For me, what I experience often, and also I hear from clients, great deepening and deep relaxation, which is really the way I base my session on, really help people to unplug their mind, their thinking. So my session, I have to say, is pretty much based on that. So most of the time what they report to me is just like, wow, I went to another dimension, I went to another place. The result is quite immediate. You can see after the session, the energy, the expression of the person, everything is so fresh, so like uplifted. And that's what they say. They say, you know, it's like, wow, it's incredible. Most of the time, I have to say, the response is very great. I know, so it's a great response. It's different, with, you know, from people to people, but I would say it's always really great, the response. Yeah.
I was going to say, because it's not about a belief system. It's not something that you were telling them to think about. It's not based on visualization. And like you said, it's nothing spiritual as such, because from my understanding now, hearing you speaking, I've never as such practiced anything like that in that depth as you have. But my senses are like that this thing, it bypasses your mind, because you're not telling them, listen to this or repeat this mantra or think this way. You're purely putting frequencies, exposing people to pure form of sound. Itself don't have any mental information, but they do, as you're saying, they do seem to affect us in our cellular level. And I suppose that could also play a bit about with your hormones. Do you have any report in this kind of treatment in your dopamine levels, in your feel good kind of hormone levels? Do you have this kind of data to share with us?
It's all interrelated. So when you uplift in one side, the other side also is get better. I would say, let's put it very in a simplest way. It's like, as a sound therapist, we see the body as an instrument. So one person, basically, we work with vibration, we work with frequencies. Okay, sound, it's energy and frequency. So person is out of balance because for this life, for whatever is there. So it's like an instrument, it's out of tune, basically.
I see.
Okay, so we are applying this vibration, this sound, we just helping to retune the instrument. And of course, all this internal cellular concert we have inside, it's beautiful kind of interrelation of cellular system. So if you, of course, in an individual session, you can work specifically with certain type of shoe, with the client, with the specific client. But when you work in groups, so it's like, it's a more, as I say, the word is explained quite well, sound bath. It's an immersion in sound, basically. I mean, of course, it's to simplify, when we go to see a concert, you also immerse yourself in sound, but you also mix with other things, people speaking, alcohol, so like there's a lots of other mixing kind of elements. When you put focus in delivery through such a pure frequencies like this, in a safe environment, a quiet, safe environment. So it's definitely the impact. It's very much immediate, you know. And again, you don't need to be prepared. You don't need. It's like you don't need to believe a belief system or something. It can be a total pleasant unwind experience. Sometimes it can be a little bit intense because some certain sound can trigger also some kind of trauma, old trauma or patterns. It can be certain moment can be intense as well, but it's like a wave pass through the body. It's a scanning wave, pass through the body, and the result is always, I would say, it's always good. You know, so far there are no contraindication. There are not serious contraindication. Something maybe, you know, people that have a strong mental maybe disorder, such as like schizophrenia. So we need to check a little bit with that, and also pregnancy before 3 months. So before 3 months pregnancy, so you have to be aware. Maybe if you do it, you do gently, not so strongly.
I like this image of tuning the instrument, and like in order to tune an instrument, you need a reference. So I like this image of like, okay, let's get the pure reference of the ocean, the pure reference of the sunflower, and then through frequency, this is applied in the body, and the body is kind of, like you said, rebooted, like you're rebooting your system. And I like this concept as well, that every cell is vibrating in a way, like you could say, it's like a big symphony in the body. And then when there is a illness condition, you could say maybe somebody's playing out of tune. So the liver is out of tune, the stomach is out of tune. As we know, everything is frequency, and everything can be measured in a frequency point.
No, modern science believes that every shape has a particular shape, because the frequencies, the particular frequencies of the cells makes that type of shape. So even in the body, you can say every body has its own shape according to the vibration of the DNA, and has created that type of shape. It's incredible. I mean, it's such an interesting thing to think about it, you know. So sound is what shapes the form. It gives form to matter in a way. So everything takes the form due to sound. It's the sound, the vibration that created shape. They create the form in a way.
Completely. And you as a therapist might have seen those experiments with cymatics, when they put this tray of a metal tray, and they put sand on it, and they put a certain frequency underneath it, and even from shifting from 440 hertz to 432, the design that is formed there, it comes so much more into focus just by shifting like 8 hertz. We cannot even feel the difference in your ear. Wanted.
Yes, definitely. So fascinating. So it's so much to dig in, so much to explore there. I mean, it's very beautiful.
I'm delighted with these explanations. I think whomever will be listening to this is going to be very inspired to check it out, to look for music therapists in their town. If you are in London, I'm sure they will ring your bell there to have a sound bath with you, because I highly recommend. I know you for many years. I know how deeply this stuff touches you, and I know how dedicated you are to your arts. And for you to have shifted from a drummer, an amazing drummer that you are, playing jazz gigs and all that, to be in this kind of field, it must be because it has touched you in a much deeper way. So I wanted to ask you, in fact, tell me about your moves, your plans. I know that you've got a very exciting project that you do every year. Tell us about this project to bring sound healing in a van throughout Europe.
Yeah, it comes also from great passion, as you know, for music, for sound. Yeah, well, basically in 2 years ago, I bought a little van, and then had this idea to just create this tour, a kind of journey through Europe called All Change Vibration. And just I explained to people through Facebook, just other kind of, you know, I was embarking this journey through various places in Europe. From London, the final destination would be in Portugal, south of Portugal. And then I say, okay, you know, I had a vision in a way that was quite an interesting trip to do, you know, in a sense also to travel and see new places, but at the same time also to take to let know people about the sound that you know, this type of sound group, sound bath. And during the travel, I also recorded music from one place to another place, and also in nature, with sound of nature. So and then eventually, at the end I just mixed it with other kind of instruments. So and it came also a CD at the end of the journey. So it came very spontaneously. It's just out of the passion of, you know, joy of bring this vibration around, help also people to harmonize. It's a vision, you know, it's a vision of peace, I would say, for peace, harmony, you know, something like that.
Well, the name of the project already says a lot, all change vibration. So maybe you're just going about changing the vibration as the frequencies do, but also when you go to people with this kind of mission in mind, like you are there for that kind of purpose. I think that adds a lot of energy also to whatever you're doing. If you're not just kind of going to the beach and just touristing around, you are there for an all change vibration moment. And I think that empowers people when they meet you. You are there for a purpose. You're not there just because you came to visit them, because it's been a long time you don't see them. You're there with your instruments, with your gear, with all these pure frequencies, and that can generate an amazing energy in a group, I would believe. So how many years have you been going around? Is that the first year, the second year already?
This year would be the third year. The second part last year, so all change vibration number 2. So first year I went from London to South Portugal, going through Italy, the French Alps, Austria, Germany, and Spain, France, and reaching Portugal, South Portugal in 1 month, basically. Took me a month. This last year I went to France, South France again, and Switzerland. So I had some opportunity there to bring the sound of there. Also being totally immersed in nature, in the mountains, so beautiful. This year I had an invitation to go to Croatia for a kind of healing and, you know, festival. So, and I also have another contact in Romania. So it looks like the all change vibration will be going that East Europe side this year. So it's not defined yet, but there are some requested. So I am actually preparing it for another trip this year. Yes. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
And are you keeping people posted? I mean, do you have a website like allchangevibration.com or chaitanyafrancesco.com, whatever it is?
Well, I just, when I start, when everything gets on prepared, all the dates, they are more or less ready. So I know where the direction and what is going to be the next trip. So I start to, maybe in 1 month before, or something like that, I start to actually, you know, inform people, friends, and just let them know through Facebook. It's called Chai Sound Healing, but the easiest way will be just check on my website, which is chaisoundhealing.com.
Chai Soundhealing.com.
So it's the best to follow through the website, because I tell you what places I will visit, and you can see, you can check under the section music and event. So there's nothing there yet for the new all change vibration of this year, 2018. But as soon I will be having all the dates, so I will start to put information there, so you can check it out, follow the journey.
Definitely. I feel people will definitely benefit from checking it out. And it's so important, man. These initiatives are happening more and more in the world. I think we are in a moment of breaking through the inertia, basically. Well, there's a lot of automatized kind of human lives at the moment. And I believe by doing this spontaneous, like all change vibration, whatever situation we are offering, does contribute to get out of that automatic kind of status quo, and just to again refresh and reboot our systems to be once again a bit more spontaneous. I think this is very precious, indeed valuable asset that you've got, just to be able to go shift the vibration, because again, it's not about belief system, it's just about pure frequencies. Maybe that's why it's so powerful, because it's not gonna take sides. Science doesn't take sides. So it's like, it's there for whomever wants to experience it.
Yeah.
And it's very nice. And just to finish off, man, I would like to ask you, how have you seen these changes in yourself? How has this made you a better person, or somebody closer to what we call happiness or fulfillment or contentment? Has this contributed to your self-fulfilling being? I mean, are you a happier person nowadays?
Behind the veils. Have you breathed in deeply lately, letting forgiveness out? Have you let your tears fall freely for another's sorrow felt? Have you looked beyond the eyes, seeing the soul's embrace? Have you heard an echo in the silence that screams out in peace? Have you seen the perfection in the imperfect? Have you painted on a pure white wall? Have you danced to no music wildly until others disappear from within you? Have you laughed so loudly to yourself that you forgot you're not alone? Have you felt afraid to show yourself as you hide as another brick in the wall? Have you frozen in horror? Have you spoken out your truth? Have you stood up for what you believe? Have you let the veils that hid you fall gracefully to the floor? Come out from your hiding place and be the beauty that you are.